Echo comes out 6 months after Jin's Happy debut album. It builds on Happy Rock's direction and explores even more genres of rock than Happy did. Hello, my name is Frenetica, and today we're reviewing Jin's Echo. Echo has 7 tracks. Thematically, the album is divided into 2 parts. The first part is composed of the first 3 songs. The themes of the 3 songs seem to be more about romantic love. They give an encompassing view of what romantic love can feel like. The second part, it is less about romantic love and it is more about a loving camaraderie while overcoming difficulties. Don't Say You Love Me is the first single. It's a song about wanting to clarify a fluctuating and up and down kind of love. Nothing Without Your Love is Jin expressing how he feels complete only by another or person. Loser, it's a very fun track about being loved by a partner so much that it makes the other person feel like a loser. It's like letting them know how down bad they are for him. Rope It represents the beginning of the second part of the album. It makes sense that the second part starts with a stark change of sound. This second part is about overcoming setbacks, about facing storms, about coming out the other side. In With the Clouds, Gina expresses how he can take hurt from a loved one. This is a sentiment that he will later repeat in both Background and To Me Today. It represents a selfless part of Jin where he is willing to take the hurt away from others. Background represents longing, missing a brighter and more colorful past. The song is full of angst about a current gray present. It expresses stressing about an unknowing future and feeling eclipsed by a brighter, more colorful past. To Me Today is the perfect epilogue for a very sorrowful but loving second half of the album. In here, Jin reinforces the notion that he is willing to take the worries and pain away from a loved one. And it has a powerful message about living in the present and to stop worrying about the past. A kind reminder to himself of Background and himself of With the Clouds. Now, I will review each track individually, first talking about the sound and feeling that I got, and later diving into the lyrics because that is how I listened to the album, finding out the translation only later on. It's going to be a little long, so bear with me. Don't Say You Love Me is a indie pop rock kind of song. It starts with a guitar and a tender keyboard. It sounds kind of melancholic. When Jin's vocal starts, we are also introduced to the bass and the drums. It has a really nice bass line. On the verse, we don't hear a guitar nor a piano, but I don't know, I could be wrong. When he sings Faking a Smile, the keyboards of the beginning come back, tying up the parts of the song really nicely. We also hear harmonies and layering of Jin's vocals on the pre-chorus and the chorus. When the song transitions to verse 2, we get a nice little filtering effect of the drums, giving the song a little bit of variation, like a nice breather for the transition to verse 2. The song structure is classic, simple, old school. The song also reminds me of like a Harry Styles song. It's easy listening in the best way, and it's very tightly constructed. I really love this sound for Jin, and it's really a great song to have as a single because of the way it's structured and its easily digestible message. I think it's made to resonate with the general public without compromising any artistic integrity. As for the lyric, Don't Say You Love Me has that universal angsty feeling of a couple in the middle or post-breakup. It carries so much love and heartbreak at the same time, knowing that you need to leave a relationship but still holding so much love for it and for the other person. Don't tell me you're gonna miss me, just tell me that you wanna kill me. It just conveys this angsty, intoxicating love/pain in the chest kind of feel. I really like the song. Nothing Without Your Love. The song starts with what I think are keyboards, and there is like a sound effect that makes it sound like there's some waves crashing in the beach. Then you can hear like a triangle or like something like metally and bright that gives weight to both the violins and Jin's vocals. His vocals are front and center of the mix, but they have an echoey effect to them, making them sound longing. The song also gives you a feeling of it growing or building up to something, a larger than life kind of vibe. And it does this by introducing its elements one by one. First the keyboards, then the violin and Jin's vocals, and like a clap that is also increasing in volume at the back of the mix that starts to set the rhythm. There's some vocal layering, and finally the strumming guitar and the drums. Right at the end of the pre-chorus and before the beginning of the chorus, we hear a very like bright violin. I don't know why it reminded me of of a Disney movie, like when Cinderella gets her rags changed into a magical, dreamy dress by her fairy godmother. That's the feeling that I got. The building up of the song finally explodes in the chorus with Jin's beautiful vocals. I like the layering they added to them. It builds this like dreamy feeling I was talking about. The chorus ends in a more quiet feeling with only the keyboards and Jin's vocals that have some echo to them, conveying his sincerity. On verse 2, they start building up the song again with that growing sensation. First, Jin's vocals accompanied by the drums and the violin and an electric guitar that I don't think I heard on the first verse. Then adding more vocal layering, more violin layering, and the drums also growing pace, like in urgency. The song structure is just like Don't Say You Love Me, but the sound reminds me more of a power ballad. It's loving, tender, but also all-encompassing. And the lyrics carry that message of feeling incomplete until you meet another person. And I heard him said in Wendy's show that this was a song about what he felt when he's on stage. So it makes me feel like Army is to him like that money pixie dream girl that just completes him. But the expression Nothing Without Your Love does signal to like a codependent relationship, like him expressing he has this boundless darkness that only is brightened by when someone else found him, and that light like shone so bright on him that he felt like shine bright like a diamond that he felt like he finally felt complete and illuminated. It's a really nice and tender rock ballad. Oh baby, that's stupid. Loser is a really fun and dynamic song. It starts with a little guitar riff and a clack sound. That clack sound makes me think of an instrument that is widely used in salsa music called clave. I don't know if it's that, but I just get that feeling. That instrument gives it the feeling of like a metronome or like something high pace. Jin's vocals are layered since the beginning and they have a bit of an echo to them, but they're like right in your ears and it's taunting and cheeky. On the verse, we get a second guitar that is in sync with the drums. On the refrain, we start hearing Jenna's voice accompanying Jin's, and it starts slowly increasing in volume. Verse 2 is all Jenna's singing. She follows Jin's rendition in like this kind of punchy, whiny, very bright and shouty. I'm saying it in a good way. Then we have a little bit of backing vocals from Jin. The song just builds so many layers between the two singers, and it really is like they're ballading it out. There's so much going on this song, but it's mixed so well. You don't get lost in the sauce. At the end, the song looks back right at the beginning, and it resolves in a very satisfying way after having had so many vocals and things going on. You also have to recognize the A&R team that finds just the best vocal partners for Jin. They did such good job last time with Wendy and this time with Jenna. The lyrics, they're lightheartedly making fun of the person who is in love with Jin. And Jin is just letting them know that, yeah, it shows that you're like down bad for me. Jenna mimics that back. Like, well, yeah, you're also down bad for me. So like, what are you even talking about? It shows that obsessive, juvenile kind of love that is hot and cold and really addicting and really memorable of your first love. And I really, really like Jin's cockiness to his voice. He's like, yeah, you like me, hmm? Rope it. I'm laughing because on the video that I did of me speculating on what Echo was about with the concept photos that you can watch here, I specifically noted that Jin was wearing cowboy boots on all of his outfits. And I said, mwah, they look amazing of him. This is just me bragging. I also noted that his first look made him look like a very early Tom Petty, who is used to doing that country rock soulful kind of song. I just saw the Rolling Stones review of the album, calling this song a full country song, and Jin's yeehaw moment, and not to disagree with the legendary publication, Rolling Stones, please hire me. But I have to disagree. This isn't really his full yeehaw, straw-chewing, God-fearing white boy country kind of song, which is what Rolling Stone was describing it. This is more of that Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers southern rock with a little bit of blues and folk infused to it. Think of Mary Jane's Last Dance. Make it over the top and add a little bit of comedy, and you have created Rope It. It is more modern than Mary Jane's Last Dance. Maybe think of Cage the Elephant, No Rest for the Wicked. It's just an interesting sound that mixes in so many influences, and I'm in love. It's a cool genre to explore because it is, I feel, on the rise. It's very current for an old school genre. Adding that bit of rock and psychedelic and like fun, like the actual horse. If you think of Echo as Jin exploring the many different genres within rock, merging them and blending them together. And this song is doing like exactly that. Think of the many genres of country and rock and country rock blending in together. I'm sorry, I ramble a lot. I just really love this song. The song opens with like an electric blues kind of guitar and a whistle that just reminds you of a Western kind of movie. They could have just sampled like a sound on one of Clint Eastwood's movies, and that would have been that electric like whistle sound. And you also get an actual whistle and the horse that makes the opening kind of comedic in the best way possible and makes it, makes it kind of camp. It is kind of camp because it's not taking itself that seriously. And if there were to be a music video for this song, I don't know if it will, but if it were to be a music video, I just know that it would be very camp. It is my interpretation that it would lean into that very fun, irreverent side of Jin. Then you have like a nice little riff from the guitar and the kick of the drum. Another guitar comes in. It also introduces the harmonica. And finally, the drums build up to Jin's vocals. I feel like the instrumentals set us up in an old-timey Clint Eastwood kind of duel. But once Jin's vocals enter, the vibe changes from like that old-timey campy sound to a modern Cage the Elephant alternative blues kind of sound. We get a rhythm guitar, a bass, the drums, a bluesy riff. The song again has a lot of elements going on, and I think it speaks once again to how well the mastering and engineering were done because everything is so cohesive. The lyrics are actually the opposite of campy and fun. My interpretation is Jin singing to the BTS members, it tells a tale about facing countless attacks and duels. Even before joining the military, BTS has been getting a lot of attacks by everyone. It's almost like they want to duel BTS. And when they left the military, those like slimy characters only intensify their attacks. When he starts singing, knowing how to give up is a basic way to live, it's almost like taunting those characters and those detractors like, girl, just give up. We're always coming on top, you know? But I feel that is BTS ethos. BTS do not get in the mud and fight the low-life haters because they just soar above the noise. And that's how it has always been since the beginning. The rope it lyric, rope, it makes me think that it's him telling the BTS members just like hold it together. Like, let's keep it tight, let's keep it pushing. You know, like let's gather our strengths and get these difficult attacks out of the way and just move on. That is what I meant by me saying the second half of the album sounds more about camaraderie, like being together in community. With the clouds, it reminds me to a more popular Simple Plan, but also like a Japanese rock kind of feeling. This is what I mean, that Echo explores all kinds of genres of rock. He can do that because he comes from this group that was hip hop and pop focused. So now when he's delving into rock, something that he likes, he can delve into any type of rock. He's not constrained by one formula because he's just him exploring what fits with him. The sound of this song reminds me of a hopeful anime. One where the characters need to fight and overcome a big bad character. The way that they will do it is by being hopeful and finding each other and bringing your strengths together. Also notice that there are like 4 changes to the sound of this song, but throughout it, there's this lingering feeling of hopefulness. We begin with a very pop punk sound. Then the pre-chorus goes into like more like post-punk. Then the chorus is just where I feel like it goes full on anime kind of rock. And at some point it just gets very metal. I don't know. It does. Yeah, that's when it makes me feel like this is the intro of an anime OST because it just has that epic feeling to it, like you're embarking on a journey and overcoming difficulties. The lyrics, it's kind of what it's about. It's about Jin feeling like traveling or feeling like a cloud in the sky, feeling lonely and sadness. But then like a Tinkerbell, something starts to shine, just being together. And that camaraderie will let them and let the other person overcome their sadness. He also mentions something about if you're crying or if your cries are raindrops, let me get soaked. And again, not to be that army, but I think of the new song with Namjoon and Tablo about Stop the Rain. Well, it's Jin saying, just let the rain fall and I will be the one soaking, saving you from that darkness clouding your white heart. And I think that just expresses Jin's quiet selflessness. Background. This is a very sad ballad. I thought of Epiphany, but it is more like a power rock ballad. The song starts simple enough with a piano and Jin's vocals and some eerie keyboards. Then, as strumming guitar, Jin's vocals turn a little airier. Under choruses, we get a whipping guitar and that signature like power ballad drums. At other times of the song, Jin harmonizes with himself. So sorrowful and makes you feel lonely and just inspired in a great 80s ballad. And the lyrics do set Jin in that sad space, longing space. If I could go back, what would I say? That line signals to unresolved feelings. Then he says, even if I call you, it echoes back at me and hurts me again. In my previous video, I talked about the Greek myth of Narcissus and Echo. I explained how Echo was punished by Hera, I think. She would not be able to speak words, she can only repeat what others are saying. And she happened to fall in love with Narcissus, a guy that fell in love with himself. So think of that heartbreaking feeling of Echo trying to speak to Narcissus and not being able to, and just repeating back to herself whatever Narcissus is saying, which is love to himself. It's just so heartbreaking. And I felt that this song expressed just that. Even if I call you, it echoes back and hurts me again. Even if I try to reach out, my reaching out is just coming back, like it echoes and repeats, and the fact that I cannot hear you, it just echoes back, makes you feel really sad. This is a really sad song. This has to do with performing, because he mentions the stage and he says, me being here in a stage where the lights are off in front of a dark night. He says something about remembering his past and remember when he, together with someone else, painted a dream full of colors and they blended so well together. I really like that metaphor. Lightless kind of space, how he goes to his past and that past is so bright and colorful and everything blends together. That feeling of the many colors blending together just makes me feel of community, something that he might have felt he lost in that present of the song, making his days really sad and drab and gray and dark. He ends the song again really selflessly saying, me waiting for you, I'll be here in the background.
1, 2, 3, 4.
To Me Today starts with an acoustic strumming guitar and a piano and Jin's vocals. Then a little electric guitar comes in, layering a little bit more of the song until the song grows and explodes into the chorus. I feel like I should have a better way to describe it, but it just reminds me of Japanese rock and anime songs. It has that don't give up yet kind of anime vibe. The song is just a soothing epilogue to the sorrowful second half of the album. It gives you hope and centers you in the present. He says, the scorched me of yesterday, making me think of the last 3 songs in which he feels longing and lonely. That version, that is his past self. Today is a new day and a bright day, so shake the worries off and live in the present, like you have already reached the bottom and now it's time to fly high, so don't even dwell on the past. That is the feeling that I get from the lyrics. I really like all of the songs. I really, really love them. This album was just made for me, like a rock girly. Something that's very notable about the songs is that the majority of the songs, I think all of them passed the 2-minute and 30-second marks that has dominated the pop music space, inspired by the trends of TikTok algorithms. The songs all stay between that 2-minute, 35-second, and 3-minute mark. That is more akin to a rock song that allows for a building of a story with just the instrumentals. I feel that's why I talked so much about the guitars and the violin and the drums, because you can hear that they were recorded instruments. They themselves play a role in the narrative behind Jin's lyrics. So thank you to Jin for giving us this album and for honestly being in so many variety shows. How do they find the time? And until next time, remember to be excellent to one another.